Picture a student. Let's just call him Alex. Now, Alex is sitting at his desk, just staring at a blinking cursor, basically waiting for a brilliant research proposal to magically write itself. His current objective reads, to understand student engagement. Sounds okay, right? Well, actually, no, wrong. That kind of vagueness is exactly why so many research proposals completely fail before they even get off the ground. You see, formulating strong research objectives isn't about sounding super academic or throwing in overly complicated jargon. It's all about being precise. So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going to transform those fuzzy, confusing ideas into perfectly engineered research objectives. Okay, let's dive right into this.
Because honestly, everything boils down to this single, absolutely crucial question. What exactly will this study do? Strong objectives are not just, mere decorations at the beginning of your paper. They are the literal backbone of your study. They have to answer this critical question precisely and measurably. They need to tell us exactly what will be done, to whom, how, and why. If your objectives can't answer this question directly, the rest of your research is just going to wander aimlessly.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll follow Alex's journey through 6 quick steps. First, the research backbone. Second, problem to purpose. Third, specific objectives. Fourth, the alignment filter. Fifth, some pro strategies. And sixth, avoiding pitfalls.
All right, part 1, the research backbone. And this means we always start with a sharp problem.
Now, Alex's core problem is low student engagement in online classes. But right now, it's just way too broad. The golden rule here is that everything flows from your problem. If your problem is fuzzy, your objectives are going to be fuzzy too. So before you write a single objective, you absolutely must ask 3 essential questions to sharpen it up. First, what specific issue am I solving? Well, for Alex, it's low engagement in online classes. Second, who is actually affected? Senior high school students. And third, what gap exists? In Alex's case, he found a lack of strategies that are proven effective specifically in rural schools. And just like that, we don't just have a vague topic anymore. We have a sharp, highly targeted problem.
Moving right along to part 2, problem to purpose. This is where we turn that sharpened problem into a general objective. Your general objective is basically the overarching aim of your entire study. It has to flow directly from that sharpened research problem we just talked about. And I really want to stress this point. Complicated wording does not equal better research. Clear and direct wins every single time. So, forget trying to sound smart by saying you want to comprehensively explore multifaceted dynamics. No way. We just want to state exactly what will be done.
To do that, we use a really simple, practically bulletproof formula. Step 1, start with an action verb. Step 2, add your main variables. Step 3, identify your target group. And step 4, define the context. Seriously, if you just follow these 4 steps, you mathematically cannot write a vague general objective.
Check this out. Here is Alex's final, perfectly crafted general objective using that exact formula. To analyze, that's our action verb, the factors affecting student engagement in online learning, those are the main variables, senior high school students, there's the target group, and in rural areas provides our context. Boom. It's clean, it's direct, and it leaves literally 0 room for confusion. Suddenly, Alex has a real direction and is probably breathing a huge sigh of relief right about now. Okay, part 3, specific objectives. This is where we break that big goal down into manageable building blocks.
Having a general objective is great, for sure, but we must break it down into smaller, measurable pieces. And this brings us to the verb battle, which is honestly where most people trip up. Notice the left side here, weak verbs like understand, know, or explore. Alex initially used the word understand, which is a massive trap. Why? Because you cannot physically observe or measure someone understanding. On the right side, we upgrade to strong verbs. Analyze, evaluate, measure, determine. This aligns perfectly with Bloom's taxonomy, which is all about observable, measurable outcomes. You've got to use strong action verbs.
And those specific verbs, they must perfectly match your chosen research design. It's like a giant puzzle. If you're doing a descriptive study, your objective should use words like identify, describe, or measure. If it's a correlational study, you need to examine relationships. And if you're running an experimental study, your objectives must determine effects. The action simply has to fit the design perfectly.
Which brings us to part 4, the alignment filter. This is basically the secret weapon of strong research.
Misalignment is where most research proposals completely collapse. So think of the SMART criteria as a strict quality control filter for your objectives. Specific means it's super clear and focused. Measurable means it can actually be assessed with real data. Achievable means it's a realistic goal for the scope of your work. Relevant means it ties directly back to that sharpened problem. And time-bound, while sometimes optional in academic research, is incredibly useful for keeping the whole project on track.
I really want to let this golden rule sink in for a second. If you cannot measure it, it simply does not belong in your study. Testability is completely non-negotiable. For every single specific objective, you have to ask yourself, can I collect data to answer this? If the answer is no, revise it or scrap it immediately.
This alignment triangle shows exactly how everything locks together. High-level research requires perfect matching between your research problem, your objectives, and your methodology. Alex's objectives must match his research questions, and they must be answerable using his chosen method, whether that's a survey, an experiment, or an interview. If even one point of this alignment triangle is off, the entire study weakens.
All right, part 5, Pro Strategies. Time to start thinking like a high-level researcher.
So how does Alex engineer his objectives from scratch rather than just guessing? He uses the layering technique. This means structuring objectives like a staircase to create a really strong logical narrative. You don't just throw objectives at the wall to see what sticks. You start at level 1 with description, say measuring the baseline level of engagement. Then you step up to level 2, analysis or comparison. Then level 3, looking for relationships, like maybe between teaching strategies and that engagement. And finally, level 4, recommendation, where you propose actual strategies to improve the situation based on what you found. It's a beautiful, logical flow.
Another high-level tactic Alex uses is reverse engineering. You literally start from your expected output. You ask yourself, okay, what results do I want at the very end of this? And what must I measure to get there? And then you just build your objectives backward. Combine this with variable mapping, just listing out your independent and dependent variables, and suddenly you can easily create clear objectives around how they relate without getting lost in the weeds.
Finally, part 6, avoiding pitfalls. Let's do some reality checks for your study.
Before you even think about finalizing that proposal, we need to ensure no critical mistakes are going to undermine all this hard work. First reality check, the number of specific objectives, 3 to 5. That is your sweet spot right there. Writing way too many objectives is a super common trap. It just dilutes your focus and makes your whole study completely unmanageable. Keep it tight. Keep it between 3 and 5.
Next up, avoid outcomes you cannot control. Look at the left side here. To solve unemployment. I mean, that is a massive, incredibly unrealistic promise for a single research paper. It's a huge danger to promise things you can't actually deliver. Instead, look at the right side, to analyze factors contributing to unemployment. That is realistic, that is something you can actually measure and achieve.
Okay, here is our rapid-fire final checklist of common mistakes you need to avoid. First, never combine multiple actions. Please don't say to analyze and evaluate and recommend all in one single sentence. One objective equals one idea. Split them up. Second, don't be vague. Third, like we talked about, drop those non-measurable verbs. Fourth, ensure absolute total alignment with your research questions. And finally, watch out for inconsistent variable naming. If you call it student engagement in Objective 1, do not suddenly call it participation in Objective 3. Use the exact same terms throughout the whole thing to maintain clarity.
So, we've taken Alex from staring blankly at a blinking cursor to building a research proposal with an absolute backbone of steel. Writing objectives isn't just about formatting, it's about engineering a clear, precise path forward. Because in research, clarity is power. So look at your own work right now and ask yourself, are your objectives building a solid foundation for a real breakthrough, or are they setting you up to fail before you even begin? Take these frameworks, demand testability, and stop settling for fuzzy ideas. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy researching!